Hey, this is Ruth Irons, and I've had a lot of requests for how I make my white bread. So I want to make sure that future generations get the opportunity to make this bread. I don't want it to die when I do. So here we go. What I'm going to do is tell you that what I do is I weigh all the ingredients. So I start with a 25-pound bag of bread flour. And it has more protein than all-purpose flour, so it makes better bread, which is why they call it bread flour. Get this at Sam's. And so what I do is I weigh all the ingredients. We got salt, and we put 1/2 pound of salt in, and then I had the sugar, and we're going to put 3 pounds of sugar in. So 25 pounds of flour, 3 pounds of sugar, 3 pounds. I'm sorry, 1/2 pound of salt, and 1.5 pounds of dry milk, and you want to make sure that it is the whole milk. So this is dry whole milk. Do not get the low fat. You will not win prizes. So right now we're measuring the powdered milk here, and we need, like I said, 1.5 pounds of powdered milk for 25. Get this going here, and there we go. Close enough for government work. All right, so those are the ingredients that we put in the bread, and then we end up with 1 3/4 pounds of butter, which you can see laid out here. And so what we're going to do is, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take all these ingredients, and I'm going to mix these together because trying to mix 25 pounds of flour together is kind of a challenge. So since we're done with all of these, let me get it out of the way. And so we're going to mix these ingredients up together. And what we're going to do is we're going to take this and we're going to take the flour, run it in the Cuisinart, and I'm only going to do a very quick demonstration of this because you're going to repeat this until you're totally gone with this, and totally done with this, and totally done with the butter that we're cutting in. So here's my butter, and let me go grab a knife. And so we're going to start by taking some flour and putting in go ahead and get a cup out. And I'm going to take a cup of flour, kind of. But what I do is I just put it in the food processor till I fill it up to where the little piece sticks up here. Put in about that much flour. And then I take my pre-made mix here that I've got that has all the other ingredients in it. And take about, that much or so. What we're trying to do is just mix it all in together. And then right here we're going to take this butter, and I'm going to put half the stick. I found that it works pretty good if you put half a stick in with about that much. Okay, and then we're going to give this a whirl. And basically I give it enough time till it looks like everything's incorporated with each other and it's all ground in together nicely. But you don't want to do this too long that it really starts to heat it up, because we're not trying to melt the butter, we're just trying to cut the butter in. So you can kind of see, looking at this flour, it's kind of got a little bit of a grain to it, but the butter's totally disappeared. Everything's all mixed good. Now I take this, and I've got a bucket down here with a garbage bag in it, and I just dump it in the garbage bag. All right? So that's what I'm going to do until I am done the process of all of what's here, all here, and all my butter. is in that bag, and then I'm gonna lift up that bag and I'm gonna really hand mix it as good as I can to get everything incorporated through the whole thing. But I will say that that is how you make the most excellent white bread. Now with this mix, I've got a measuring cup. Let me grab my measuring cup. Where did the measuring cup go? It had a little bit of my last one in it. I don't see where my measuring cup, here it is. So I've got this measuring cup right here. I fill it up to this line right here with mix, and I add 1 teaspoon of yeast to that in my bread machine, and I add 1 cup plus 1 tablespoon of water. So 1 cup of plus 1 tablespoon of water, and this is 3½ cups of the powdered mix and 1 teaspoon of yeast in the bread machine. Push start, medium crust, and you've got the greatest loaf. Oh, and then of course, the reason my bread also tastes good is because when it comes hot out of the bread machine, I take butter and I cover the outside of the loaf with butter and let that soak into the crust to make it a nice crust. All right, well everyone, I hope that this is a good lesson on how to make the most excellent white bread. We'll talk to y'all later. Love you lots.